Alright, what up, yo? It's DatBoiPat here from Catharsis Records, and today I'm gonna do my part 3 vinyl collection vid. Um, I got blue hair this time. I was trying to change some shit up and stuff. I got some new like little shits up here. I got that new Kenny Beats and Denzel Curry vinyl thing, vinyl figure thing. And yeah, so let's just get into it. The first one I'm gonna show off, it's gonna kind of have like a running theme on this one, because I got a lot of records from the 2000s that I want to show off. And the first one I'm gonna show off is Jedi Mind Tricks, Violent by Design. If you don't know who Jedi Mind Tricks are, they're a late 90s, early 2000s hardcore hip hop group. They've been kind of like, they've had like interchanging members for like a lot of years, and this is the first one that has Just Allah on it. It's Just Allah, Vinny Paz, and Stoop, the Enemy. This is pretty solid. This is like some underground like hardcore hip hop that it sounds a little dated, because there's some like homophobic stuff on this that kind of ages it and dates it a little. But if you can look past that, this is really enjoyable. This kind of has like the vibe of like a Wu-Tang, or like a what's their name, Hieroglyphics. It's like some real Hieroglyphics vibes. It's like if you're really into like backpack rap, where it's mostly just like a lot of underground only rapping, not like a lot of like melodic hooks or anything. This is pretty solid. The production on this is probably the best thing about it, I think. The rapping is really good too. Vinny Paz, he comes through with like some really like dope bars. Just Allah, he is one of the best, most aggressive voices that I've ever heard. But really, what I think holds this album up is the production. Like, the production sounds, sounds late 90s, early 2000s. This came out in 2000. Oh, there's like a lot of like string laced samples on this. It sounds kind of like something that like RZA would make. I'd probably say my favorite tracks on this are Heavenly Divine, Eye Against Eye, Death March. Speech Cobras, I think, is probably the best beat on this, or at least my favorite one. That one sounds the least dated. It's definitely solid if you're like want to get into like underground hardcore, like early 2000s hip hop. I would definitely try to get this. It's pretty rare. Like, it's pretty rare. This is the 2012 repress, and I got it for like $130. So if you can afford to get that, and you can find one online, I definitely get it. The disc, it's nothing special. It's just a clear disc. But yeah, I'd probably say this is my favorite Jedi Mind Tricks project. The one before this was good, Psychosocial, and I thought the one after this was all right. But it's probably my favorite one. But yeah, if you haven't heard Jedi Mind Tricks, start off with this one. All right, so the next one I'm gonna show off is Quasimoto, the Unseen. This came out in 2000 as well. If you don't know Quasimoto, he's the alter ego of producer Madlib, from Stone's Throw Records. And this isn't the first time Quasimoto's appeared on a song or an album or anything. He's appeared on some Stone's Throw stuff before this, but this is like the first full-length Quasimoto project. He would like rap really slowly and then speed it up, and then like up the pitch so that it would sound like there's like a high-pitched rapping on it. And he produced all the beats on this, and the beats are really kind of like crazy and out there and like really left field. There's like some really obscure samples on it. There's like a lot of themes of like drugs and gangs and violence on this, which makes it interesting, because it is like really quirky. It is really left field. If you're a fan of like MF Doom or something, you probably like this. If you're like a fan of Kool Keith, you probably like this. This is considered like a like a underground like classic, like a cult classic for a lot of rap fans, and I tend to agree. I like literally every song on this. It is really jazzy too, like the beats and stuff. It is really jazzy. And yeah, I don't know how much this is listed for on like Discogs. I think it's relatively affordable. Stone's Throw, they do a pretty decent job of keeping like their records like in stock. So yeah, I would definitely get the Unseen if you don't have it. All right, so the third one I'm gonna show is Atmosphere's God Loves Ugly. If you don't know who Atmosphere is, this is their second album from 2002. Atmosphere started the Rhymesayers Entertainment label, which would go on to put on, like, you know, ID and Abilities and some Aesop Rock records and Food. You know, if you're familiar with Food, it was put out through Rhymesayers, and this is pretty solid. Atmosphere, they're a Minneapolis rap duo that and Slug, he's the rapper, and Ant, he's the producer. And yeah, this is pretty solid. I mean, like, it has like a real indie, like, alternative vibe to it. Like, there's a lot of, like, string laced kind of like kind of glitzy sounding production on it that adds to the vibe of like the lyrics, where the lyrics are really kind of introspective, you know, because Slug does rap a lot, like, you know, about women and drugs and alcohol and, like, addiction, and he doesn't, like, really rap about it in a way that's too sappy or, you know, corny or anything like a lot of stuff you see today or you've seen in the past 5 years. And it's pretty solid because he can, you know, nobody's really challenged him, you know, for doing, like, that kind of, like, I guess, emo rap, because he does kind of, like, take credit for starting, like, the whole emo rap thing. And he does kind of, like, self-proclaim that he's, like, the first emo rapper, which I would tend to agree, because there wasn't really anybody rapping like this in 2002. This isn't their first record. This is their second one. Overcast came out before this, which is pretty solid too, but it's not like this. It doesn't, like, have the personality of this. You know, this is also another one that's considered, like, a cult classic. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you haven't listened to Atmosphere, I would start off with this one, and then probably, you know, go through the rest of the albums in whatever way you want to, because this is kind of the one that I think, you know, shows off that personality that Slug and Ant have when it comes to, you know, rapping and music production. And this record is relatively affordable too. It's on Rhymesayers. Rhymesayers also does, like, a really good job of making sure that their records are in stock. So yeah, it was about $40, I think. But yeah, it's pretty solid. So listen to this. All right, so the fourth one I'm gonna talk about is Viktor Vaughn, Vaudeville Villain. You know, if you don't know who Viktor Vaughn is, he's another one of MF Doom's personas. This is MF Doom's third project, you know, and this one is really solid too. This is super slept on. Like, this is so slept on. You know, I think people don't give this the respect that it deserves when it comes to, you know, hardcore MF Doom fans know it, but, you know, this isn't as recognizable as, like, a Food or a Mad Villainy or a, you know, Operation Doomsday, or maybe even like a Mouse in the Mask. Like, this gets pretty overlooked. But yeah, I'd probably say Viktor Vaughn is MF Doom's most grounded persona. Like, he raps about a lot of realistic things. He feels more like a real rapper on this. Not that he's not rapping well in the other records, but he just feels like a more, like, typical kind of rapper on this, you know? And, you know, the beats are really dark and eerie and stuff. And it has, like, a certain, like, kind of dreariness to it that helps with the grounded Viktor Vaughn persona, you know? This is another one where I like every single song. You know, Can I Watch? It's a really good song. Look Up On, Saliva, you know, those are all really good songs. Yeah, this pressing is really hard to get now, because before this is the third time. This is the third pressing. It's only been pressed 3 times. It recently got pressed in December of 2020, and before then it had been pressed in 2013, and then before then it had been pressed in 2003 when this was originally released. But yeah, if you could get your hands on this for a relatively affordable price, I would just go and get it before it takes, like, another almost 20, you know, another almost 15 years for it to get pressed. So yeah, yeah, Viktor Vaughn. All right, so the last one I'm gonna show off is Ghostface Killah's Fishscale. You know, if you don't know who Ghostface Killah is, Ghostface Killah, he's a member of the Wu-Tang Clan, who are, you know, one of my favorite hip-hop groups. If you see my other video, I did a Wu-Tang Clan tier list where I ranked all their albums from the 90s. I'm still debating doing one from the 2000s. I'm not as familiar with their stuff. I think their stuff kind of falls off in the 2000s, but not this. Like this like Fishscale is one of my favorite Wu-Tang albums, and mostly because of how like diverse it is. You know, like there's a lot of hard songs, there's a lot of smooth songs, there's a lot of, you know, upbeat kind of jumpy poppy songs. And Ghostface Killah on this he's still rapping really well too. There's not a single like moment on this that he wastes when it comes to, you know, song topics or song hooks or song, like, you know, verses. You know, he's like rapping his ass off. And some of the skits aren't, you know, there aren't that many skits on this that are like kind of like slow it down or anything. They fit like the real theme of this. You know, it's also, you know, it's got a lot of references to violence and drugs and gangs, and there's a Wu-Tang Clan posse cut on this, which is good. The production on it is really, you know, pretty bombastic and loud, and there's a lot of horns on it. There's a lot of, you know, bass hits. There's some production from MF Doom on this, which was pretty interesting when I found that out, because I never, you know, when I first heard this, I never could have imagined like that MF Doom and Ghostface would have done something, which is why I think Ghostface has one of the best discographies, which is because his discography is so diverse, you know, like he can really do any type of album, you know. Yeah, and I think him and Inspectah Deck are probably still pretty good like nowadays, you know. Inspectah Deck with Czarface, he's still doing a lot of good stuff. The disc is like I think it kind of, it's supposed to resemble like a fish's eyeball or whatever, but it has like a real like cool kind of look to it. Like I haven't really this is probably like the coolest looking record I own. I don't really have too many like splattered records or swirl records or tricolors, but yeah, it's probably the coolest looking one I have. But yeah, if you haven't heard this before, it might take a couple listens to really kind of get the vibe of it and get the feel of it, especially after coming off of some of his other records, like you know, Supreme Clientele and Iron Man and Bulletproof Wallets and you know, Pretty Tony album. This one sounds pretty different compared to those, so it might take a couple listens for you to really get into it. I got this for about $70 because it is the VMP pressing, but if you can get it for a price that you're comfortable with, I definitely recommend it, because this is solid. This is one, you know, one of my favorite you know, hip-hop albums, period. All right, yo, so I guess that's gonna do it. You know, make sure you want to see some of my other records, follow me on Catharsis Records. That's my Instagram, that's my shit for like everything. So yeah, see you next time.